ever feel like you're sprinting through life, but you're stuck in the same place emotionally? You're juggling responsibilities, chasing goals, outwardly thriving, but deep inside, you feel like you're not making progress where it matters most. That's the exhausting truth of highly functioning traumatists. It's time to slow down, my sisters and brothers. It's time to step off that treadmill and break free. And you can. It's available to everyone. Highly functioning traumatists feel like they're running a marathon without realizing that they're on a treadmill. Let's envision that together. It feels like you're running a marathon, but you're on this treadmill and you're going nowhere. But if they ask you, you say, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm busy, I'm racing. You're racing, but you're racing and going nowhere. And your life is in the same spot over and over and over. You're sweating, your muscle burning. But when you look up, you have not moved an inch. Kai! That's exactly what highly and high functioning trauma does. You're giving the world everything, but internally, you're stuck in the same painful cycles. I know of somebody who I coached who was leading an award-winning team at work. People admired her drive and determination, but at night, she'll sit in the car in the driveway because she couldn't face the silence inside her home. She told me, I keep going because if I stop, I might fall apart. How many people feel this way? That I must just keep going. High functioning trauma is sneaky because it masquerades as success. The cost of living in survival mode instead of true fulfillment. It takes away the essence of your thriving away from you, because it's masquerading as success, but it's not, because it's all external. There's nothing internal, and nothing external can fill up your internal cup. Nothing. And let's try it out. Try it out today and tell me, come back and say to me, you lied, Adiola. This thing that I have on the outside, my husband, oh my goodness, is the best. In fact, let's try it. And come back and tell me. There's nothing on the outside. Now, can people help? Oh, yes. But you first need to feel like you're worthy of something and deserving of it. And that is for you. And you have to feel all those things on the inside. You have to feel aligned. You have to feel supported from the inside. All those things are an inside job, not an external job. You know, it's not an external job. And Brené Brown says that you can selectively numb emotion. When we numb the dark, we also numb the light. And a lot of us are numbing the dark. And it's in that darkness that light comes. It's from that darkness. But we run away from darkness because, no, I cannot touch it, I cannot see it, I cannot. But are you in the light? Still no. Because that darkness is still lurking there. And it has consumed you more than any light that you can ever see. And until you step off that treadmill, you keep burning energy without gaining peace. There's a cycle of overworking to escape emotional pain now. We're consistently finding coping mechanisms, and most of us use work as our coping mechanism. You say, I'm busy. You even create work within the work for yourself so that you don't have to connect with people or go home and have conversations or have meaningful friendships or relationships. We throw ourselves on projects, promotions, packed schedules, because slowing down will mean confronting what hurts. And it's easier to stay busy, of course, than to sit down and face all your wounds. Someone once said to me, Adiola, work feels like the only thing I can control. Because nothing else in my life is going the way that I plan. So let me just focus on the work. At least I know how to do that one very well. How happy do you think he was for him to say that kind of thing to me? The cycle of overworking is rooted in fear. Fear of vulnerability, fear of being found out, fear of your own feelings, fear of failure, sometimes fear of success. But here's what I know. Emotions don't disappear because we ignore them. They show up in other ways through burnout, disconnection, even physical ailments. Imagine trying to put air inside a balloon and then wanting to keep it low inside water. You can only use your hand to push it down because the natural instinct of that balloon is to float. Now imagine if you were using all your body parts to hold this thing down. The moment you let go, everything is going to come back up because that's where it's meant to be, at the surface. For you to be able to deal with it, you could have done everything, maneuvered, manipulated all the ways of pushing it down. But the moment you let go of it, everything comes all the way up. That gives you the permission to love. That gives you the permission to accept, to trust, to live, to thrive, to flourish. Whatever you suppress will eventually express itself in some other form or another. So if it doesn't come here, it will show up somewhere else. Because the work of it is to be exposed so that you can deal with it. But if you keep forcing it down, one day it will come up. And it can come out in another place, in your liver, or your kidneys, or your lungs, somewhere else. And then you have to now start running to the hospital for another problem that you could have avoided just by healing. Because your body keeps the scores, and your body remembers everything. Just like your mind remembers everything, your body does the same. It feeds your body, and your body just does exactly what your mind has asked it to do. So feed your mind properly so that your body is filled properly. True freedom starts with awareness of your patterns. You can't break free from what you can't see. Awareness is the first step to healing. It recognizes the treadmills that you're running on in cycles. So the cycles of overworking, perfectionism, or avoiding, asking yourself questions. What am I? I do a lot of question asking. A lot of introspection. Okay, so this thing that I want to do now, what are the benefits? Why am I doing it? And I don't stop at the first why. Because when you ask quality questions, you get quality answers. But when you ask questions like, God, why me? That's like one of the most useless questions that you can ask. Because the answer is, why not you? What's wrong with you that can't happen to you? But introspection. What am I really running from? Why am I avoiding this conversation? What is it costing me? Am I happy with my outcome? What thoughts am I thinking for me to be feeling this way? And consistently, why do I feel like crying? What have I suppressed? Why am I running away from healing this particular pain? Why do I choose to carry it? Ask yourself all these questions. You've got to, because we keep repeating the patterns. Check it. A mother has a child out of wedlock. She promises herself her child will never be like that. Her child too promises herself she'll never be like that. And it happens to the child the exact same way. Why? Because they only focused on all the things that they didn't want. And that was the only image they created. They didn't create anything else. So the patterns is like to the 7 generations, but we think it's a curse. It's not. It's the patterns that play out. It's the patterns. So look at the patterns that you have and check your habits around them. If it's not serving you, what would then make it serve you? Create that picture. Leave what is not serving you, because it's not serving you. That's why we're where we are. Create the one that serves you and focus on that new picture, so that, my brothers and sisters, you can come out of this treadmill run of going nowhere. You've been running so hard, and I see you. And I honor you for all the work that you have been doing. You've been doing so much. But it's now high time to ask yourself, what and where am I really trying to go? What am I trying to do? And where am I trying to go? Ask yourself that question. Healing isn't about running faster or doing more. It's about stepping off that treadmill and walking into your peace, your purpose, and your freedom. And I'm so big on healing, guys, because imagine what you would do if you were free to live, if you were free to love, if you were free to follow your purpose and your passion, if you were free to have a life of meaning and purpose. What would that life look like? And what is what you are doing right now? What is it costing you from living that fulfilled and thriving life? My exercise for you today is that you identify one repetitive cycle in your life. I want you to identify one repetitive cycle in your life. So it could be overworking. It could be that you're avoiding intimacy. It could be that you're avoiding friendship. It could be that you cut people off quickly so they don't come close. Whatever. One repetitive cycle, and it's something you do all the time, so that you can avoid being hurt. Remember? And I want you to write it down and write how it might connect you to your unresolved trauma. Ask yourself this question when you have written it down. What am I trying to avoid? What am I afraid of? What am I trying to avoid? And what am I afraid of? The answers will come through, and then you can put it down and see it in its entirety. You don't need therapy for this. You can do some of this work yourself. Just that some of us are very lazy. We need somebody to hold our hands. If you do some of the things that I ask you to do, you will go closer and closer and closer into yourself, and you'll be able to help yourself thrive and flourish. And at least you will start your healing process. Do you still need a therapist? You do, because you can't do it by yourself. However, can you start the process on your own? You can. And starting with what I've asked you to do today. What am I afraid of, and what am I avoiding? And what is it costing me? 2025 has to be our best year yet. And so I've created courses, I've created videos that will help us work through January and February. I've done a whole line of videos, and I hope that these videos are going to really help you improve and transform your life so that 2025 will be your best year yet. Don't forget, subscribe, click the notification bell below, like this video, and finally share me with other people so that as you grow the community of people around you, and we have a wholesome society. God bless. Love and light.